Imagine this, it's 2035, and you're standing at the crossroads of your life. The choices you made in your 20s have shaped the person you've become. On the left side, you see the version of yourself who squandered time, embraced distractions, and drifted aimlessly. On the right, a version of you who made calculated decisions, embraced discomfort, and invested in your future. Which version will you become? The truth is, the decisions you make in your 20s will determine whether you thrive or stagnate for the rest of your life. This is your make-or-break decade. You can either be remembered as someone who took action, or someone who simply let time slip away. Chapter 1: The Danger of Wasting Time in Your 20s. Time is the most precious commodity in your 20s. Most people don't realize how quickly the years pass by. Every day you waste, every minute spent in indecision, takes you further away from the version of yourself you want to be. You don't have endless time to figure things out. The clock is ticking, and with each tick, you lose a bit more control over your future. The longer you wait, the harder it becomes to change. The dangerous illusion is that you have plenty of time. The reality is, by the time you hit your 30s, many of the opportunities you wish for may already be gone. So, what are you doing today to shape your tomorrow? Chapter 2: The Power of Focus and Setting Long-Term Goals. Focus. It's a powerful force that most people underestimate. In a world filled with distractions, being able to stay focused on your long-term goals is a superpower. You need to understand the psychology of goal setting. Setting clear, measurable, and specific goals activates the part of your brain responsible for motivation and determination. When you don't have a clear destination, your brain can't help but wander aimlessly, pulling you into the chaos of daily distractions. But when you take control of your life and create a roadmap for your future, everything changes. Your 20s are the best time to define your path and prepare for the life you want to live. Chapter 3: Breaking Free from Comfort Zones. One of the greatest threats to your growth in your 20s is the temptation to remain comfortable. Comfort feels safe. It feels secure. But the truth is, comfort is the killer of potential. Every time you avoid discomfort, every time you turn down a challenge, you're giving up a chance to grow. Here's the psychological truth: your brain craves comfort, but this craving is based on fear. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown. But when you embrace discomfort, you're telling your brain to stop running from growth. To break free from the cycle of stagnation, you must step outside your comfort zone and face your fears head-on. You need to train your mind to associate discomfort with progress, not pain. The moment you make this shift, everything changes. Think about this: the person who decides to take a cold shower, who starts that business idea, who speaks their mind in a meeting, these people are not fearless. They are just willing to embrace fear. And that is what separates those who thrive in their 20s from those who simply exist. Chapter 4: Social Influence: How to Identify Toxic Relationships. Your environment is your silent influencer. The people you surround yourself with have an immense psychological impact on your decisions, your mindset, and your future. In your 20s, this influence can either elevate you or drag you down. The people you spend time with can either empower you to reach for your goals or hold you back in a state of complacency. Toxic relationships are like invisible anchors. They seem harmless at first, but over time, they weigh you down. The darker side of human psychology is that we often attract people who mirror our own insecurities. If you're not careful, you may find yourself surrounded by individuals who reinforce your fears, your doubts, and your limitations. These people will make you question your worth, your decisions, and your dreams. Here's the truth: you cannot grow in an environment that does not support your growth. If you're surrounded by people who make you feel small, who discourage your dreams, or who live in a constant state of negativity, you need to cut the ties. The sooner you take responsibility for your circle, the faster you can begin to create the life you want. Chapter 5: Mastering the Art of Delayed Gratification. One of the hardest psychological battles you'll face in your 20s is choosing delayed gratification over instant pleasure. Your brain is wired to seek immediate rewards, it's a survival mechanism. But in today's world, this wiring works against you. Every time you give in to the temptation of immediate pleasure, you are sabotaging your long-term success. The key to mastering delayed gratification is recognizing that the short-term sacrifices you make today will yield exponential rewards in the future. Let's say you decide to skip that night out to focus on building a skill that will set you apart in your career. In the moment, it might feel like you're missing out. But the truth is, that one decision will compound over time. The person who continuously chooses long-term rewards over short-term gratification will be the person standing in the life they want in their 30s and beyond. Delayed gratification is not about suffering or denying yourself happiness. It's about making decisions today that lead to a life of abundance tomorrow. Chapter 6: How to Build Self-Discipline, the Key to Realizing Potential. Self-discipline is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It's the silent force that drives the most successful people to achieve extraordinary things. The psychological secret behind self-discipline is not about willpower alone. It's about creating a system that forces you to do the hard things when you don't feel like it. If you wait for motivation, you'll never succeed. Motivation is fleeting, discipline is what carries you through the hard days. Successful people don't rely on feelings, they rely on habits and routines. They understand that consistency is more important than bursts of energy. The trick is to make doing the hard thing easier by incorporating it into your routine. Once something becomes a habit, it no longer requires willpower, it's automatic. Here's the dark psychology behind self-discipline: if you let your emotions dictate your actions, you'll be stuck forever. The successful person understands that their emotions are fleeting, but their habits are permanent. This is the mindset shift you must adopt if you want to build the life you desire. Chapter 7: Financial Mastery, Why Money Matters in Your 20s. Money is not just paper, it's a tool for freedom. In your 20s, your financial decisions will have a lasting impact on your future. The problem most people face is that they don't understand the psychological effects money has on their mindset. People either see money as a source of stress or a means of indulgence. But the reality is, money is a tool that you can leverage to gain control over your life. Building wealth is not about luck, it's about making intentional choices. The psychological truth is that your relationship with money will shape how you experience it. If you fear it, avoid it, or are reckless with it, you will never have the financial freedom you desire. But if you make conscious, educated decisions, if you invest in yourself, save wisely, and understand the power of compound growth, you will build wealth over time. This is the best time to start, because the decisions you make in your 20s will pay off when you're older. Don't let your 20s slip by without taking control of your financial future. Learn to use money as a tool, not as a source of stress. Chapter 8: Mental and Emotional Health, the Silent Game Changer. Most people ignore their mental and emotional health in their 20s. They're too busy chasing success, accumulating possessions, or living for the next thrill. But the truth is, mental and emotional health are the silent forces that shape every aspect of your life. If your mind is chaotic, your life will be chaotic. Here's the dark psychology behind neglecting your mental health: when you ignore your emotions, they don't disappear. They build up, causing stress, anxiety, and depression, which eventually lead to poor decision-making. Your ability to focus, be productive, and engage meaningfully with others all depends on your mental state. If you're not emotionally healthy, every goal you pursue will feel hollow, and success won't bring you the fulfillment you expect. Invest in your emotional well-being. Meditate. Seek therapy. Practice mindfulness. Take care of your mental health because it is the foundation of everything else. Chapter 9: Taking Responsibility, Own Your Life. In your 20s, the shift from victimhood to responsibility is one of the most powerful transformations you can make. The moment you start taking full responsibility for your life, you take back your power. Dark psychology shows us that the victim mentality is one of the strongest psychological traps, because it convinces you that external forces control your life. But the truth is, you are the one who shapes your reality. The shift to responsibility doesn't just mean admitting you've made mistakes, it means stepping up and acknowledging that you have the ability to change. It's understanding that your actions, not circumstances, determine your success or failure. If you are constantly blaming others, the system, your upbringing, or anything else for your situation, you will remain powerless. The moment you own your decisions, both the good and the bad, is the moment you begin to take control. Look in the mirror today. Who do you see? The person who is overwhelmed by excuses? Or the person who says, I am responsible for my life, and I will shape it how I choose? Chapter 10: Why you must invest in yourself. Investing in yourself is the most crucial step toward creating the life you desire. It is also the one thing most people neglect. Dark psychology reveals that people who don't invest in themselves are trapped in a cycle of mediocrity. Why? Because they don't believe they are worth the investment. But here's the key: the greatest investment you can make is in yourself. That's right, your health, your skills, your relationships. These are the assets that will yield returns over time, and they are the most important things you can nurture in your 20s. Every book you read, every course you take, every hour you spend learning something new or improving your health is a seed you plant for the future. No one else will invest in you as much as you can invest in yourself. The dark truth is that people who don't invest in themselves end up depending on others for validation, success, and happiness. But the person who invests in themselves becomes their own source of power, and that's where true success begins. Chapter 11: The Power of Continuous Self-Reflection and Growth. To truly master your 20s, you must be willing to reflect on yourself regularly. Self-reflection is one of the most underused tools in personal development, and its absence is often the difference between those who thrive and those who plateau. You cannot grow if you don't understand where you've been and where you want to go. Psychologically, self-reflection allows you to identify patterns in your behavior, thoughts, and emotions. It allows you to spot bad habits, recognize when you're sabotaging yourself, and course-correct before it's too late. When you engage in self-reflection, you bring your subconscious mind into your conscious awareness. This is where real transformation happens. Journaling, meditation, and mindfulness are powerful tools for this practice. The more you take time to reflect on your actions and their outcomes, the more you'll see where adjustments need to be made. Don't wait until it's too late to change your trajectory. Regular self-reflection gives you the power to adjust your course in real time. Chapter 12: Mastering Your Environment. The environment you create for yourself plays a massive role in your success, and it's something that most people overlook. If your environment is disorganized, filled with distractions, and lacking focus, your mind will be the same. In your 20s, mastering your environment means eliminating anything that doesn't align with your goals. Dark psychology shows us that our environment constantly sends subconscious signals to our brain. If you're living in chaos or clutter, your mind will mirror that chaos. But if you create a space that reflects your ambitions, whether it's your bedroom, your workspace, or your digital world, you are aligning your external environment with your internal goals. Start small, clean your room, organize your workspace, and minimize distractions. You'd be surprised how much more productive, focused, and inspired you'll feel with a clean, purposeful environment. This isn't just about cleanliness. It's about creating an atmosphere where success can thrive. Chapter 13: The Power of Relationships, Surrounding Yourself with the Right People. In your 20s, relationships are not just about socializing, they are about building a network of people who will elevate you. It's the people you surround yourself with that will either push you toward success or drag you down. Dark psychology tells us that we become the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. This means that the energy, mindset, and habits of the people around you have a profound influence on your own life. If you're constantly surrounded by people who aren't ambitious, who settle for mediocrity, or who make excuses, you will likely adopt those same behaviors. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with driven, positive, and successful people, you will naturally adopt those qualities too. Building strong relationships with people who inspire you is crucial to your growth. Seek out mentors, peers who challenge you, and those who support your dreams. Don't waste time on relationships that drain your energy or hold you back from your goals. Chapter 14, Understanding Fear, How to Use It to Your Advantage. Fear is an inevitable part of life, but how you handle it makes all the difference. In your 20s, fear will show up at every turn. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of being judged. But what most people don't realize is that fear can be used as a powerful tool for growth. Psychologically, fear is a signal, telling you that you are on the edge of something great. Instead of running away from fear, lean into it. Fear is your body's way of telling you that you're stepping outside your comfort zone, that you're on the verge of something transformative. The more you embrace fear, the more you'll grow, and the faster you'll achieve the life you want. Instead of asking, "What if I fail?" ask, "What if I succeed?" Fear becomes less intimidating when you realize that it is not your enemy, it is the force that propels you toward your greatest achievements. It's never too late, take action now. Now is the time to act. You may be watching this and thinking that it's too late to make a change, that your 20s are already slipping away. But the truth is, it's never too late to start making intentional decisions, to invest in yourself, and to break free from the patterns holding you back. The time for change is always now. You have the power to shift your mindset, change your habits, and begin building the life you've always dreamed of. Don't let another day go by where you're not working toward your future. Take control today, and start making decisions that will shape your tomorrow.